All right, welcome to another episode of Full Circle with me, Onyx. And today I'm going to actually talk about kind of the power of words and also love. So, fixing your relationship with your vocabulary, with your power of words. And this also moves into acquiring a spiritual relationship, a divine relationship, and helping you understand why the word love is kind of a useless, meaningless word. Like happy, fun. Uh, those words kind of don't mean anything. They don't really help people understand how you actually feel, what you actually want out of an experience. And so, my very strong suggestion is, in a weird way, eliminate the word love and you will get love. Eliminate the word happy and you will get happiness. So, literally, when someone says, so besides just social programming, we are evolving as a species. So, what we need out of like partnerships and interactions with others is a richer, more useful experience. So I would say even entertainment uh, has brought us to a point where if the conversations and the interactions and exchanges you're having with people isn't more interesting than a book, a movie, or a fabulous meal, uh, you're not that special. You're not that wanted. Another aspect of, so we say, oh, relationships are in danger. Look at all the numbers and statistics. Everything's stacked against you. People all have all these problems, and no one really wants a devoted relationship. No one can manage and it's not true. The needs have changed of the species. The survivor we're past the era the of depression survivors, the Great Depression that was brought on with World War One and Two, as we exhausted our resources to fight war, you know, uh, and so we've recovered from that, kind of like as a collective, and and entertainment was the anesthesia to kind of help us slowly move through this depression, this idea of lack, limited resources, and work culture. Uh, so, so there are huge, um, far-reaching events that have happened in our past that lay the foundation for how we collectively think and what we collectively need. And so the forces working for and against you are kind of vast. And it's not so much them, they, and conspiracy theories. It's not so much hidden forces of like deities and gods and aliens and monsters. No. Yes and no. But let's bring this down. So, we really expanded that lens, and now let's contract it. What can we personally do? How do we take accountability and responsibility for the interactions of our lives? And so I would say every interaction is an opportunity to become a better linguist, someone better at choosing appropriate words, being a master of speech. And so expect a lot of mistakes, expect a lot of experimenting. And what better way to do that than with your very mundane social interactions with everyday people that we may assume are strangers? Uh, so, customers, colleagues, coworkers, whatever station of life you're at, we're always interacting with people. And so, whether Onyx, I don't really care about a devoted relationship, I have enough ideas of the negative, I don't really want that. Well, what about your promotion? What about your career? What about your customers? What about your family? What about your pets? You know, people talk to their garden, people talk to their pets, and we talk to ourselves. So, this video is useful for everyone, and it's interesting that communication and relationships are inseparable. Whether we're communicating through electrical impulses and programming to like artificial intelligence, circuitry and electronics, mechanics, where we're communicating chemically within our own bodies with prescription drugs and regulating our own hormones, and whether we're communicating with other people's hormones, pheromones. So, communication and interaction, energy exchange happens. So, it's no wonder that in the occult, Mercury is a magician, and can navigate the three realms. And the element of air basically has the keys to the universe. All dimensions, all planes are open up to the element of air. And so we kind of focus on the power of word. So, as a mystic, as a wizard, as an occultist, as someone interested in this, it's like you start to become very aware, conscious of words. Words have power and meaning, and more in the everyday. So there's everyday speech that you would speak to just people passing by, random customers that aren't really improving your status in life. Then there's other speech that I would call business professional, where we speak a certain way to create certain boundaries so people have a positive customer experience, or also to designate a hierarchy, levels of respect. Your boss, your supervisor, uh, your station, and then people below you. And so, with tones of voice, we communicate a lot of things. So, with the words, it's joined with an energy. And when you really, so becoming conscious is you become mindful of it. You become mindful and you empower yourself. You're like, I have the power to inflex my voice, to make it melodious, rhythmic, to have a certain tone and grace about it, which influences, besides the exact words that you said. So you can analyze and minimize the words and look at it very linear. He said, she said, and then these actions were taken. And you can remove all that emotional content, fine. And then people say, well, you're not telling the whole story. You got a very black and white view, but you're missing the point, because he said it this way, she said it that way. The way they said it, I felt this way. And so when we just look at word for word value, when we minimize it, reduce it, so your little part of your analytical brain can look at it and dissect it, you've taken 90% of the actual communication out. And now you're left with scraps. So then you get confused and you can't understand it. So there is so much more to the method of delivery and the method of receiving. And I would call that the context. The context where you're sitting. So I could say something very simple. The trigger word is love. I love you. Okay, well, you're saying that while we're jogging down the street towards the local park. So, in context with that, what would that mean? Versus we're in a restaurant, it's a candlelit dinner, we're spending a lot of money, it's quiet, and the conversation is maybe about shared finances, you know, and that word comes out, those words come out, I love you. What does that mean? So we're saying the same phrase, but we're doing it in different settings, different environments. That's kind of the context of how you know this person and that person. I love you in a work setting. So context is important, and so words by themselves have no power and have no meaning. We assign meaning. We assign it, and then we also load up those words with emotions and things like that. So people, in an argument, someone could say, I love you, and then follow it with the word, but you did this, 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 and now I want to break up. So sometimes people insert the word I love you as a caution, as a please remember I care. And so this whole point is, instead of saying I love you and confusing people, instead of using that word as like a band-aid to fix things, replace it with the word you actually mean. Now, honey, you know I care about you. And we've spent plenty of time together where I've shown you care. And then you could back it up with remember this, remember that. So I'm feeling a little bit disturbed about this. And I'm feeling, whatever. Instead of using the word as this like blanket bridge of assumption to have the other person fill in the blank, you've now filled that blank in. And so it's like an actor who doesn't know his lines because they're not there. This is where you improv. Use your great acting ability, because I, the writer in the script, have left this up to you. Instead of doing that, just fill it in with better words. And pretty soon, you're going to hear the word I love you back, because I care about you. The other person may respond, I love you too. But okay. So, some philosophers have decided there were 4 types of love. The Greeks were really into that. And they came up with 4 different loves for 4 different stages of life. And that really doesn't cover it. So I'm going to make it super simple. We have inverted love, and like an inverted reality into the negative. And then we have a positive version of this experience. So an inverted experience is its lack. And so inverted love is, I would say, validate me. Like mirror back to me, because I believe I love you, so I need you to validate that you love me back. So it's coming out of a place of want and need. Do you see the emptiness in there? Honey, I love you. Why won't you tell me you love me? You're not telling me you love me, so then I'm afraid to love you back, or I'm afraid to keep moving forward. Well, why are you afraid? Because I'm unsure. Why are you unsure? Because I don't know myself, and I don't know if I'm worth anything. So sometimes when people say love, there's the vibration, the energy, the feelings, the emotions of I'm very insecure and I don't know if I can continue this. Give me validation that me day by day, moment by moment, that you care about me, that I'm safe here, that I have permission to love you and permission to feel love, because I want to feel love for you. And so I don't know how to say all that. So I usually will just say, I love you. I love you. I love you. Okay. Now I want to leave you. Now I want to go away. So don't you care about, so some people replace the word love with, don't you care about me? I need you to know, I don't know that you care about this. So you see, when we eliminate the word love, we kind of, we unearth maybe some stuff that needs to be worked on. This negative attraction, this inverted energy, this confusing energy that's not getting you what you want. So you could be brave and say, you know what? I want to let myself feel all the passion and love and excitement that I have and I am feeling, but I'm blocking it because I feel insecure. You know, you could say that out loud and your partner might go, oh, well, honey, that's ridiculous. We've been dating for 2.5 years. I knew I loved you since day one. And then I knew I wanted to be committed to you after 3 months. So the fact that I'm here and we've been in this for 2.5 years, in my mind, we're in a solid, secure relationship. It just so happens in our family, we don't use the word love. And so I just expected you to know that if I'm here, we're solid. I'm not going anywhere. Whew. There's the security. There's the validation. There's the permission. And then everything's cool. So try to understand why you're using your words. Are you really asking a question? When you say, I love you, is that an exclamation point or is that a question mark? So is it just a statement? Neutral, it's just a period. It's the end of a thought, and it's just a statement. So open it up more, dig a little more, and you'll actually then start getting the word I love you back. That same situation could be like, no, I thought you knew after 2.5 years, if I really wanted to be with you, I would have put a ring on your finger. I would have given you the marriage proposal at 3 months, and I would have told you by the 8th date a yes or a no. But because we never talked about and had this conversation, I assumed you were just cool with friends and benefits. And so I was just going to continue going on. I didn't know you wanted this type of relationship. That may not be the end of it. So we could definitely explore that option. It's not a total yes or a total no. It doesn't have to end in disaster and feelings of disappointment and resentment. Because now this is the first time we talked about it, and it's been 2.5 years. I feel, who are you? I've been surprised. You've been hiding all these feelings from me. Now you feel like a stranger. So communicate. Bring out the skeletons, because they're not skeletons. Bring out these fears. And so when you're living in fear, lack, self-doubt, you don't know your worth, and you're seeking that validation, you get the inverted form of communication, relationships, and experiences. You're not getting the positive form. So I love you could also be seen as a threat. Danger, because that comes with like an expectation, maybe a contract, maybe bondage. Oh, great. That my sweetheart now said they love me. That means I have to do the dishes, take out the trash, pay the bills. This is going to be a second-time job. I'm somehow now responsible for their feelings. Now I'm responsible for everything they can't do, and I have to show up as a hero. Honey, I didn't say that at all. I just said I love you. We say that all the time at our house with our family and with our friends. The only thing you're going to expect is maybe a hug, a pat on the back. Maybe I'll remember your lunch. I don't know, but it's not a big deal in our house. Why is it such a big deal? For you, that ended up being very threatening. Thank you for telling me how demanding the word I love you is, or that phrase. You know, the word love, it has all these demands and expectations, and then it might bring up feelings of failure and inadequacy. Um, and so I can see how triggering that word is for you. But you've known me forever, and I don't care who takes out the trash. And, I'm actually pretty capable. And, I realize humans are humans. So I've lowered my expectations, and I really like doing stuff for myself. So for me, I love you is just saying, you're my friend, stick around, all things are good, I feel good, you're not disturbing my vibes. Oh, okay, well, that's cool. Well, if that's what it means to you, then I definitely love you. I love being your friend. We have cool vibes. You don't disturb my vibes. And we have common things and interests. So, in that case, I have been loving you the most. Oh, cool. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean that we're going to get married or anything, right? Right. So, you see how the word love can actually block all the needed conversation, all the ideas, all the assumptions, all that groundwork, all that past history. The word I love you can stop you from revealing this, or stop them from revealing that. And so you want to know that content. For some of it's baggage, a lot of it's just misunderstandings, backwards thinking, assumptions, and narratives that don't really work. And so when you start talking about that stuff, it clears the air. But then it creates better conversations, which is more energy exchange, better relating. And so then you know the person more. They're not a stranger. Uh, it's not gray, fuzzy, weird. You don't have to go to a psychic to figure anything out, because you've chosen to see that the word I love you is a very limited word. Uh, it would be better to have, you know, so we talked about love being a question. We talked about love being a threat. Love can also be a command and a contract. Because I love you, I expect you to clean your room, do the dishes, take out the trash, kind of like we said. So, who wants to be commanded? Who wants to be bossed around or controlled? I've wrote the script for you because you're my boyfriend, and because I love you, you're supposed to take me out. You're supposed to look great. You're supposed to pay the bills. So, and you're supposed to treat me a certain way and treat my friends a certain, and the punishment is then I'm going to treat you like this when you don't meet my demands, my commands, my expectations. And so love can be a very control word, a controlling word in people's minds. And it would have been better to say, these are my expectations. And then you could be like, why would you put expectations on me? And then, no one's ever asked me that. Well, I guess I thought if I wasn't spelling it out and creating a really rigid structure, you would leave. And then the person might say, well, that's exactly what would make me leave. It's not that I don't love you, it's that you're trying to control me. You're taking away all the pleasure in acts of kindness and acts of service. Of course, I would love to take out the trash for myself and you, not exclusively for you. These things make our lives better. I want to pay the bills because I don't want to worry about them not being paid, So it's not, and then that could level up your relationship. You're like, you mean I don't have to expect, command, and demand? I don't have to effort this. I don't have to control it. You mean I don't have to be the dominant one because I have some narrative in my mind that I have to be the leader and the responsible? And like, no. You're dating a very capable person here. Can you please see me for who I am? These expectations are stopping you from valuing me, and you're doing way too much. You're probably just not used to being in a secure relationship. You're probably not used to relaxing and, being normal. You're probably used to having to take on extra responsibilities that aren't required in relationships. Surprise. And so, yeah, this is all the negative use for love and why people react to that word. But this is also your opportunity to stop using that word to have better conversations, to have deeper, richer conversations, and to add more clarity in your life. So you'll get out of the inverted experience of love, the overuse of the word, the needing to hear the word, to use it, as to help you feel secure in your experience. So we're coming to the end of this video, and this actually comes up a lot because I've had 3 friends that have Aquarius energy that I would say all had religious backgrounds, and they tend to love bomb, and they tend to want divine special relationships, and they want like an elevated experience in their love life, and none of them are getting it. And they I feel like you just kind of got to tweak that word and really start sharing what's underneath that word, which is deep need for validation. And validation isn't always about, oh, I'm insecure and I need validation. It's also like insurance and reassurance that, is it safe to continue being friends with you? I've been burned so many times. Is it safe to express my feelings? Because I'm a very loving, kind, caring, thoughtful person. I'm enjoying my experience with you, and I just want to open up. But I don't know how to say all that. So then I just say, I love you. And then I react the opposite way. I associate the word love with all those negative things: expectation, contract, control, confusion, bullying. It's all negative. And so they're like, what's going on? And it's like, I'm like, you're hiding all this other stuff. Of course, I already know you're insecure. Of course, I already know you need permission. And of course, I know you need that validation to continue step by step the relationship. It's obvious because of the tone of your voice. It's obvious for all these other reasons. As an intuitive person who, you know, it's obvious. But let's have these conversations so you don't have to hold them back, and you can flow and you can be free as the Pisces that I am, so we can just have a good time. And I'm like, we need to have these conversations about, if they knew how superficial, how empty, how much the word love or other words are used as band-aids to cover up and maybe suggest stuff. But the reality is we're all coming from different places and different experiences. So let's upgrade our vocabulary to move into, if it's not inverted, I don't know what you'd call it, the opposite of inverted, relationships, free relationships. So in the next video, we can examine that. We're really just taking a look at it. So lastly, the energy of inverted love is me, 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 you, 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 you. So when we're obsessively in love with the object of affection, the symbol of affection, really kind of what's going on is that object, that symbol, becomes a permission slip. It gives you allowance to feel what you want. That's why you're addicted to him. That's why you're addicted to her. That's why you're addicted to love. You're addicted to the symbol instead of actually receiving it. So you're kind of stuck in still wanting, uh, but you're getting high off of the feeling of feeling it. It's like, but the reality is you don't need the symbol. You don't need the person. You don't need the object. You don't need the deity. So it's like becomes idolizing. You're we have our idols, we have our stars, we have our focus of light. They become the center of our world. And you're not realizing you've turned a real person into an object. And that object is the symbol of love that represents beauty, validation, security, acceptance, hope, peace, worth, value, understanding, wisdom, all these wonderful things you've literally put on another human being. I'm not saying, oh, well, once you find out they're a real person, you're going to feel disappointed and crushed expectations and you're going to feel jaded and reality sucks. No, I'm just saying all those things that you've projected and mirrored onto this object, those qualities are within you. So, in a weird way, an ideal, an image, a symbol is invoking a psychic force that lives within you. So, yes, use your idol, use your star, use that special person in your life and see through the illusion at the actual reflection. Those energies are within you. You are that stability. You are that validation. You are that reassurance. You are that ideal image becoming self-realized. So then it becomes, you can take a negative experience and turn it into a positive when you say, what is the lesson? What am I trying to see? What am I learning here? How do I own it and reclaim that energy? So instead of going into negative and then victimizing yourself, villainizing the other person, own all of it. Go, yeah, oh my gosh, I really want all these loving things. I was projecting it onto the idol that I know I couldn't have, but I just want to experience those feelings. Great. Now that you experience it, keep experiencing it and realize you can share that with anyone, everyone, no one. You can master the art